Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I want to present you an opening trap that you can play as white in the Ruy Lopez. The trap is known as the Tarrasch Trap, named after Siegbert Tarrasch, one of the strongest chess players and most influential chess teachers of the late 19th century. Unlike many other variations that only appear in Analyze, Tarrasch actually sprung his trap against masters in tournament games. Even two masters fell for the trap I will show you today against Tarrasch himself. Namely Isidor Gunsberg at Manchester in 1890 and Johannes Zukertort at Frankfurt in 1887. The game against Zukertort I want to present you today. You can see the critical position already on the board. It's white to move and win white at the spot. But take your time, before we just jump right into the tactic, I of course want to show you how to reach the position and what black should have done to avoid to get trapped. So without further ado, it's time to checkmate. So the game started with the moves e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and after bishop b5 we see the starting position of the Ruy Lopez. Here black decided to play the move a6, and after the retreat of the bishop to a4, knight f6, castling, black took the pawn on e4, and this is known as the open defense of the Ruy Lopez. Here white didn't lost any time and attacked the center right away with the move d4. Black responded with b5, and after bishop b3, black played the move d5. And it is important to know that e takes d4 is already a mistake, because of the move rook to e1. Pinning the knight on the e-file, so black really has to play the move d5, and here white got a pretty stunning shot, knight to c3, as played in the game Fischer vs Trifonovich in 1961. The reason behind knight c3 is that black really cannot take the knight, because then after bishop takes d5, bishop b7 and bishop takes e4, black's king is in grave danger, and the computer gives this position already as +3 for white. If you don't understand why this position is so great for white, I would advise you to turn on the engine and try to play it for yourself a little bit. An even better move in this position would have been bishop to e6, and this was actually played in the game. But even here, after the moves knight takes e4, d takes e4, rook takes e4, bishop e7, bishop takes e6, f takes e6, knight takes d4, castling, and queen to g4. White got a pretty active position, and black has some real difficulties to face. His pawn on e6 is weak, and white's pieces are all pretty active. I mean, yeah, I think this position is just better for white, and in the end, Fischer went on to win the game quite comfortable. So anyway, let's go back to our game. In this position, black decided to play the move d5. And here white just simply grabbed the pawn on e5. And after bishop e6, c3, bishop e7, white played the move rook to e1. And this is the first indicator that white wants to set the trap. Here black castled, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this move, don't get me wrong. And white played the move knight to d4, and this sets the trap. White attacks the knight on c6, and it's now black who have to decide, will I take the knight, will I take the pawn, will I guard the knight, what's the best move for black? And in the game, black decided to play queen to d7, and this is actually a big blunder that loses the game right at the spot. But before I want to show you what will happen after queen to d7, I of course have to show you what black should have done. In my opinion, knight takes e5 looks like a decent move. There are many players out there who say that knight takes e5 is just another mistake, but I'm not sure about it, because white's best move in this position would have been f3. And after bishop to h4, because if the knight would have moved, then this knight would be hanging. So bishop h4 is a sensible move, because it attacks the rook on e1, and the rook has to move. Let's say rook to e2. Then we simply could just jump in with the knight to f2, taking the queen. And let's say white takes the knight, then we grab it back. And after king takes f2, we got a position where white got two pieces for the rook and the pawn. But on the other hand, black can start a queenside attack, or even in kingside attack, because the king is quite weak. And also white doesn't find it easy to develop all his pieces on the kingside to queenside to good squares. I mean, the bishop is easy, he could come just simply to f4, for example, but where do you want to put your knight? I mean, okay, you go to d2, but what's next? You know, it's not so quite easy, I think. And I would say that this position got chances for both players, and even my engine says that it's equal. So yeah, I'm not so sure why so many players don't like this position, but I think it's a playable position for both sides. Anyway, in this position, you may argue, well, I don't need to take a knight, I could just play a move like queen d2. And this is absolutely correct, but then after knight to e2 to d3, well, it's suddenly white who needs to be pretty precise not to fall into a mating attack, you know. For example, a normal looking move like g3 is already a big blunder, because after bishop to g5 attacking the queen, f4, and here knight takes f4, and white really has to take the pawn back, so g takes f4, bishop takes f4, and if the queen takes, well, then we simply got the check on h3, winning the queen. So let's say king to g2 and knight takes f4, bishop takes f2, f4, and well, the resulting position is pretty simple to evaluate. White got 3 pieces for the queen, but black also got 1, 2, 3 pawns for it. So this position is pretty much hopeless for white, especially if you think about white's king. He's pretty much in danger, and yeah, I don't see why white should any better in this position. And if you turn on the engine, it already gives you nearly +5 for black, so this position is pretty good for black. So yeah, I think that this move is probably a little bit underrated. Anyway, other moves that was played in this position were, for example, knight takes d4, c takes d4, h6, f3, knight to g5, knight to c3, and c5, as played in the game Hübner vs. Piquet in 1992. Or, for example, another last move I want to show you is the move queen to e8 that was played by Swidler against Zulskis in 2001. Anyway, let's go back to our game. In our game, black decided to play the move queen to d7. And as I already told you, this is a big blunder. So I would advise you to pause the video and try to figure out why queen to d7 is such a bad move and what's white's best move to win the game right on the spot. I give you 3 seconds to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. If not, I'll give you a little hint. At a first glance, it looks like white is sacrificing material, but black cannot take it back because then he will lose even more material. So with this hint in mind, I hope you will find the solution. So I give you another 3 seconds to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. The right move is knight takes e6. And now it doesn't matter how black will recapture the knight, he will lose material. Let's say he recaptures the knight with the queen. Then we just simply can grab the knight on e4, and black cannot take it back because our bishop would grab the queen. For example, f takes e4, bishop takes c6, f takes e6, and in this position we can even go to d7 with our queen, attacking the knight and the pawn, and if the knight would move, then even the bishop would be loose. A last try by black would have been the move took a to d8, but even here, after queen takes e6 and king h8, we just have to find one more good move. For example, knight to d2 to stop the mate on the back rank, and yeah, in this position white is clearly winning. And if in this position black would have recaptured with the pawn, well, even here we just simply could take off the knight on e4, because black again cannot take the pawn because of the pin. And yeah, I mean, this position is absolutely hopeless. Let's say black again tries some back rank tricks by playing rook f to d8, then we just simply grab the pawn on e6, and after king h8 we even can grab the knight on c6, because backrank tricks won't work because of our bishop on b3. So yeah, I hope you liked today's video, I hope you learned something. If you did, please let me know in the comments and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. So see you next time when it's again time to checkmate.